Hey, everybody, welcome to I Know a Guy. I'm Anthony, and this is the podcast where connections thrive. Each episode, we spotlight inspiring entrepreneurs, professionals, and individuals doing amazing things. Together, we'll grow your circle, spark collaborations, and discover new opportunities. Today, we're meeting Kellina Powell, the inspiring entrepreneur and advocate known as the Deaf Queen Boss. As a mental health coach, international speaker, and author, Kellina empowers young adults with disabilities to raise awareness about inclusivity while sharing her journey of resilience and success as a deaf individual in a hearing world. How you doing today, Kalina?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me today.
I was excited to have you on. I know last time we spoke, you were at a networking event, so
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
talking to
definitely.
everybody
Yeah.
everywhere. So it's awesome to see. I love the people that are go-getters. You're trying to do as much as possible, and that just rings true. So, um, starting off, where are you located? Where are you calling in from?
I am calling from Canada, Toronto. You guys, and yes, it is where Drake is from. So,
I got you. I got you. If somebody's coming up there to visit, let's say they've never been there before, where are you taking them to, go hang out? What's fun? Where are you going to take them to eat?
I would say I would love to take them to the CN Tower to look at the CN Tower. I would love to take them to the basketball game, the Raptors. That would be too much fun. And also to eat, I don't know, somewhere like sushi. I'm such a big seafood person. I love sushi. So like those robot sushi where they deliver food to you and robot, which is really cool.
That is pretty cool. What's your go-to order at a sushi place? What are you getting?
I usually get my mango sushi. That's like my number one sushi.
I like it. That's awesome. So, what can you tell us about what you do?
Yeah, just like you said, Anthony, I'm an international speaker, author, and coach. Little do people know I'm actually a hard of hearing person. I became deaf at the age of 4, and this is where turned me into my passion. The reason for that is because I never grew up with role models that look like me, so this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And what else about me? I would say I'm also starting a real estate company in the coming months, which I'm super excited.
That's awesome. So, the mental health side and, being a coach, what was it in your past, or I guess what led you to do that? What was the drive to start what you're doing?
So I remember when I was in high school, I was actually looking for a counselor that were also deaf or had any other disabilities, and I realized that I couldn't find anyone. And it's a very low number to find someone who's have a disabled who's in the medical field. It's very rare to find them. And then when I got to university, I actually met a professor who was my math teacher, but he was also a psychologist. And I'm like, wait, what? And so again, it was just inspiring for me because again, like I said earlier, I never met anyone that look like me or represent me. And I had a good conversation with him about my career path. What am I gonna do after I graduate university? And so I said to him, sir, I don't know what to do. And he literally said to me, he said, Kalina, like, I just impact your life. Why don't you make an impact in other people's life? And that's when I realized, maybe I should do some research on how can I make people life feel better, especially their mental health. And that's where I branched into my mental health and addiction diploma to really dig deep, especially for the deaf community, and really help them to overcome their struggles that they're facing, like I was when I was growing up. It wasn't easy, and that's where it leads me because I had a professor who showed me that if he can do it, I can do it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I really like that, and I love that you're wanting to help others, right? You're out there, you're an entrepreneur, you're a go-getter, but you're wanting to kind of pick people up as you go. So that's really honorable, and I like that. Where's real estate come in? You're starting that. What's triggering that?
Oh, so my family owned a real estate company actually. So I was always surrounded by real estate all the time, but I just wanted to do it because I know that there's not enough housing for people who are disabled. And that's where the real estate came into my mind. I said maybe I can make a new home for my community and also as well create a deaf school. I noticed that there's a very few deaf schools in Canada. There's only actually one deaf school in Canada, which is very sad compared to the United States. There's so many deaf schools. And so yeah, I wanted to eventually create my own deaf school and also help my community with housing crisis.
That's awesome. And again, noble. I really like that. So, what's your favorite thing that you're doing?
My favorite thing is honestly put people smile on their face, making people laugh. That's my favorite thing to do. I don't know why. It's just something I love doing. And secondly, I just love make an impact in other people's life in terms of giving them advice on what they should do, and just being a leader, which kind of makes me happy. So
Awesome. So obviously you're younger and you're in the entrepreneur, kind of area. What advice do you give younger folks that are wanting to become entrepreneurs or considering starting those as careers?
yeah, I get that question all the time. I always tell people break down what you're good at and break down what you're not good at. If you do not have a clear mind of what you're good at and what you're not good at, you're not gonna know what you can be. And I feel like a lot of times people are too focused on what they're not good at, and they try to push it toward, okay, I'm gonna get better, I'm gonna get better. But there's so many ways to get better in things. There's so many strengths out there that you have in yourself. And number two, I would say never listen to other people's opinion. I feel like when we become an entrepreneur, we tell our friends like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and then the negativity comes in, and you're questioning yourself like, should I even continue doing this, or should I even ignore those people's opinion and keep moving forward? So that would be my advice.
Okay. How about some advice as far as like some stumbling blocks that people might find early in their career, other entrepreneurs might want to keep an eye out for, maybe a hard won lesson that you had early on?
I would say for me, the hard lesson I learned when I first started was cutting people off. That was a very hard one as an entrepreneur because you want to be surrounded by like-minded individuals. And I noticed that not everybody have access to these type of people. I always tell people use LinkedIn to build your connection, build your network. The reason why I said that is because LinkedIn has everything you're looking for. And number two, also don't be afraid to reach out. I remember the very first time I reached out to somebody to be on their podcast and they rejected me. And I always tell people, don't be afraid of the no. If someone tells you no, don't be afraid. That no should motivate you to keep going until you get a yes. And so that's my advice for people who have that one hard lesson. I just wish I had someone that told me, no, it's okay. It's okay to get no. And you are always going to get that one no. And I wish someone told me that, like, you're always going to get that one no. It's okay. And so, but yeah, so that's one piece of advice I would say. And that's one of the hardest lessons I had to learn was accepting no.
Absolutely. Knows an acronym. It just stands for next opportunity, right? So move on, pick yourself up. Yeah, it kind of sucks, but you'll get over it. There's a book. It's called Go for No as well, and exactly that. So you really summarized the whole thing there. I really like that. Um, so what does your average client look like, or what is something that if somebody has a pain point is going through something, what does that look like that you're the person that they should talk to?
So the main point in what? Like, give me an example.
So if somebody has a pain point and they're needing help, uh,
Okay.
what does that person look like, and why is it you that they should talk to?
I would say for me, I've been bullied a lot of times in my young life. I had people doubting me, especially teachers. I had teachers that couldn't accommodate me. I had teachers that pushed me under the rug to the point where I couldn't get into post-secondary. It was really bad. And I know people could come talk to me because I can really relate what they're coming from, what they're going through, especially mentally. I feel like a lot of time when you speak to some people, you think they can relate to you, but are they really helping you? So I know that I can really truly help people who come to me for advice. I'm known as honestly the advice person. Like people come to me for everything. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what is so good about you? And people said, because you are so relaxed, like you're very eye-opening, and I change people's perspective a lot of time. And that's what I noticed with myself. I don't know how, maybe because my psychology background. I don't. But I'm really good at making people really think deeper to really truly understand what's going through it, what's going on with them. And it's very important that we understand our root of why we've been thinking the way we are. And I feel like a lot of time we ignore that root, why we're thinking that way. So yeah, I'll be the great person to talk to because I have a lot of life experiences, and a lot of times too, a lot of people don't know this is that, I'm young. I made so much mistakes in my whole life. Like it's really bad. Like I made bad decisions with partnership, relationship and career wise, especially trying to figure out what I want to be and who I want to be.
Yep. No, absolutely. I think that's everybody. We're gonna make mistakes. Absolutely. So obviously you're a networker. Like I said, the first time I spoke with you was you had a networking event. What does your average power partner look like when you're out networking? Who are you trying to synergize with? Where do you find a lot of overlap with, maybe other coaches or other industries that you're able to kind of refer back and forth and help one another's clients?
I would say that I always ask them this very strong, unique question. I always ask them, if you were to go back from when you started, what advice would you give to yourself? And I feel like because I always ask them that first thing I see them, they're like, wow, this girl just really want to know what my mistake is. That's crazy because you don't think about that when someone asks you that question when you're networking. And so I feel like when you ask them a personal question first off, they're going to draw to you on a different level. And then now you can ask them any question, like, okay, how can I support you? How can I help you? I know a lot of people, especially when they ask me questions like, Kellina, what are the good questions? It's very important to have very good, specific, and top end question. And don't overthink too much about questions. And that's something I learned with myself when I'm networking with people. I give value back to people, what they're looking for. I always ask them, how can I help you? What can I do to support you? And just someone you want to connect with. And I think that's why I'm able to be called a connector or a networker because I'm good at asking what other people can do. And I actually vulnerably listen to people. I'm like, oh, this is what you need. Okay, I can definitely try and see what I can do with my network. And I'm all about uplifting all my network to connect with different people.
Absolutely. And that's important. Give without expectation of receiving. Just go out and provide as much value for as many people as possible. I've said it 1,000 times, but it's the Zig Ziglar, help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. It's the golden rule. It's the, reap what you sow. It's karma, whatever words you want to put to it. We've said it 1,000 different ways over 1,000 different years, right? It's human nature. It's law. Go out, try and help more people, and things are going to come back for you. So great advice. And knowing that as a young entrepreneur, it's going to take you places, right? Because a lot of us learn it later, right? And the sooner you learn that, the sooner it starts paying dividends. So that's fantastic. How can young adults with disabilities overcome mental health challenges?
I would say by truly being honest with yourself is number one. I feel like a lot of us do not take the time to be truly honest with ourselves to really understand what is really going on. Why am I thinking this way? And number two is think about who you can go to for your support. I feel like a lot of us do not always have the right support system. For me, for example, like my family and my support system, they're my rock, they're my everything. And they know what's best for me because they generally ask me questions like, how can we support you? Are you stressed because you're listening too much? A lot of time I get very easily to be tired because of my listening. And especially as a deaf person, listening can be exhausting at the end of the day. We're like, okay, well, I'm tired. Like for me, sometimes I would come home and take out my hearing aid because I'm so tired. My family knows when I'm tired, right? So it's very important to surround yourself with the right people. And how would you find out? By asking them one little favor, by giving them a test. That's how you know they're your people. Always give people a test. Don't be afraid to test people to really see if they're really truly your circle or their right hand corner. And number three, don't be afraid to get help. I know this is not something easy to hear, but believe me when I tell you, it's better to tell a random stranger about your story than someone in your circle. I feel like because you can get a better perspective of what's really going on. Hearing someone's opinion outside of your circle is so much more reflecting and a lot more clear than the inner circle, right? So that's my advice for people with mental health.
Okay. Yeah, that's fantastic advice. So as an entrepreneur in general, how important is it to network and to grow that circle?
It's so important. Oh my God, I could not tell you that. Like, so important. I would say it's important because you don't know who knows who unless you ask, right? For example, a great example. If you're looking for a job, right, and you know somewhere is hiring, and you're like, oh my God, I need to get someone inside. But how would you do that? Because you don't have a network. So that's how important network is if you think about it, especially for an entrepreneur. It's such a very small world. People think it's cute. It's like you have to need to know this person. I said no, it's such a small world. But you do need to be in the right room and right space for that. And that's why networking is super important.
Absolutely. How does inclusivity benefit both individuals and businesses?
So inclusive is very big impact on a lot of people just because disability can be invisible or visible. A lot of people don't know until they say something. Like for me, I'm invisible. Like a lot of people want to know. And so I would say it's super important because you also want people to feel included. You want people to feel like you matter. Especially you want your business to stand out. It's super important to have inclusivity in your business because you want people to know that your business can operate any type of way.
Yep. Nope. Absolutely. I can, yeah, I can see that. So we talked about a lot of great things. We got to know you a little bit. What do you want to end on? Is there anything that I missed or I failed to ask that you wanted to add?
Yeah, I mean my book. So
Awesome. What's its title?
okay, so my book is called Every Day I Am Just
Okay, awesome. Well, can you give us a snip? What's it about? Kind of, who's it meant for? Who should read it?
Okay, so there's a lot of things, you guys. Okay, so my book is a poem book. Okay, it's not a chapter book, anything too crazy. It's really about me being that daily basis to really inspire other people to let them know that they are not alone in this world, whether you have a disability or not. Anybody can resonate with my story. I talk about dating. I talk about like friendship. I talk about like things that you would not think like, oh, really? Wow, that's so true. It actually relates to me. I remember this one person was reading my mental health crisis page. And he's like, oh my God, I can relate to this because I'm like that. And I'm like, exactly. This book is not just for disability community or the deaf community. It's for everybody has a whole to let them know that they're not alone in this world. And also as well, the second thing about the book is because I want people to know that this this needs to stop kind of and say that, you should never judge a book by a cover.
Awesome. Where can they find it?
Everybody can find it on Amazon.
Amazon. Awesome. And I'll be sure to grab that from you. As far as, getting a hold of you and having a conversation, wanting to, kind of pick your brain, ask some questions, what's the best way people get a hold of you or where can they find you?
Yeah, everybody can find me on Instagram, Deaf Queen Box, or anybody can find me on LinkedIn, which is Kellina Powell. You can find me anywhere, you guys. I'm all over the place. I'm all over social media. Don't be afraid to reach out to me, honestly. Just message me podcast so I know it's you who are listening. I'm super happy to chat with you.
Perfect. And I'll be sure to get all those links in the book and everything in the description. So we don't have to hunt for it. You just click it and you'll be right there. But absolutely recommend everybody to connect with Kellina. She's a bundle of joy. She's exactly in person, in a one-on-one as she is with this. So absolutely reach out. Don't be afraid to do that. If you are a little bit more shy and you prefer an introduction, just ask me. I'm more than happy to make that introduction for you. But other than that, you can find me at ikag.me. You can find more episodes, subscribe to our newsletter, and connect with our growing community. If you or somebody you know would like to be interviewed, you can also apply on the website. But Kellina, I really appreciate you taking the time and reaching and pouring into us and kind of sharing your story. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you can do because you're doing a lot of great things and you're doing it, young. So here in, 10, 20, 30 years, you're going to be, on top of the mountain. So I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Thank you.
I appreciate it again. I hope we all have an awesome day. So let's all go out and grow our circle. All right.
Thank you.